Welcome to lecture 5 on course circuit theory. In last class we have reviewed on the independent voltage source and current source, as well as we have reviewed on Kirchhoff's voltage law, Kirchhoff's current law and power balance, right? Now next, once now we know the independent voltage sources, as well we also know the dependent sources, that is voltage controlled voltage source, current controlled current source, voltage controlled current source and current controlled voltage source, like this. Okay, these are the four dependent sources that generally are used in circuit theory courses, right? Okay, so once I know the independent voltage sources, dependent voltage sources, Ohm's law, Kirchhoff's voltage law, Kirchhoff's current law and power balance, then I would like to now write the equations for the circuits. Obviously I can write using Kirchhoff's voltage law as well Kirchhoff's current law, but if the circuit is big or if the circuit is more complicated, which will be consist of, let's say, 3 meshes and so many nodes, so it is highly difficult for me to write the equations using Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. So for that I should know some systematic methods. So basically there are two methods by which you can write the circuit equations. One is called as your mesh analysis, right? And the second is your nodal analysis. Okay. So in this class, first we will see the nodal analysis. Once we are convenient with the nodal analysis, then we'll go with the mesh analysis, right? So first I would like to discuss with you regarding the nodal analysis. Okay, so in this what we will cover. So first we will see the steps involved in the nodal analysis, or step involved while writing the equations, using nodal analysis. I will write NA. Okay, then next, once I know this, what I will do, I will take it at the start first resistive networks, okay, with the independent sources or with current independent sources, or independent current sources. So what I will do, I will take the circuit which will consist of the resistors and the independent current sources, and then I will write the equation using the nodal analysis. Then once I know this, that how to write the equations using nodal analysis for the resistive network which is having the independent current source, then what next I will do, I will try to formulate that current equations, or formulate the equations into linear algebra problem, right? Okay, now once I know this, what next, I will see how to solve the linear algebra problem, or how to solve the linear equations using matrix theory. Okay, now in this we will come across, first we'll solve the linear equations. Then what we'll do, in this what will happen, it will be able to know that while solving there is one condition, that determinant of the matrix should not be equal to 0, right? So during this, what we'll do, we'll try to see the significance of, or role of determinant, okay. Then once we know the role of determinant, what we'll do, we'll try to see what will happen if the determinant of the resultant matrix is 0, what is its interpretation in circuit point of view. Okay, so what we'll see, whether solution exists or not, or in circuit point of view, Also we will say that existence of solution. Right. Also we will see what will happen if the circuit consists of resistive things, or if the circuit is resistive network with the dependent sources, what is its effect, that also we will see. Then once we are familiar with this, next what we'll do, we'll take it the resistive network or resistive circuit with the independent voltage sources. Okay, fine. Now once we know this, then at the last what we'll do, we will again, not last, but after the once we know or once we are familiar with this, next we'll see how to write the networks, or how to write the equations for the network or for the resistive network with voltage source when it is connected, or only voltage source with only voltage source connected between two nodes. Fine. And at last we will see this complete nodal analysis for the dynamic network or for the dynamic circuit. What does it mean? The circuit consists of resistors, inductors and capacitors. Okay. Right. So before going into detail, let me acknowledge some of the well-known professors from where I have taken the reference, from whom I have taken the reference. So first professor is Professor S.C. Ratto Roy. Then next is Professor Tapan Bhattacharya. So I acknowledge him as they have shared the recording on this course. Also third is Professor Ali Hajimari. And he has put the material on his website. That let me write that website, https then CHIC CALTCH Caltech EDU and Hajimari. Okay. And some of the material I have taken from the Emmy Van Valkenburg book. Emmy, that already I have given to you. Van Valkenburg, right, called Network Analysis, and Hyatt and Kimberly also. Okay. Already this reference is given to you. Okay. With this, first let us start with the nodal analysis method, how to do that. So first what we said, we'll see what are the steps involved during the solution of, or during the writing of nodal equation. So first what we have to do, first you identify the reference node. Already node, what is node we have covered, right? What is node? Where it will share the common point, right? The elements, different elements will share the common point. So I can call it as a reference node or ground node also. Okay. This is the node. With respect to this node, generally all the voltages are measured. Okay. The next, second step is define. What we'll do, define the node voltages, that for example V1, V2, V3, etc. Okay. Then third, once we have defined the node voltages, what we'll do, we will write the KCL at each node. Fine. Once we have written the KCL at each node, next what we'll do, we'll try to represent or express all the denoted currents in terms of node voltages. Okay, in terms of node voltages using obviously Ohm's law. Once we know this, the resultant whatever we will get, that will be our resulting linear algebra problem, and what we'll do at the last, we'll try to solve this resultant linear algebra problem. Okay, fine. So these are the steps involved. It is very simple. So let us take it with the example. As already I told you, the example which I will be going to cover, that is the network which will consist of resistors and independent current sources, right? So suppose I'll take one network like this. Okay, then one more resistor is connected here, say one more resistor connected here, say, and this current source is connected, for example, with this arrow, and here one more current source is connected with this arrow, right? So suppose I'll need the resistances R1, this is my, for example, R2 and R3. I'll name it this also I1, and this will be, for example, my I2. Now let us apply the steps what we have been seeing. First step is to identify the reference node, and generally the reference node you can select by your own. There is no rule, but you try to select the reference node at which node maximum number of elements are meeting. So let us take it this node. How many elements are meeting? 1, 2, this 3 and 4. So what I will do, I will take this as a reference node because 4 number of elements are meeting. Whereas if I'll say this, how many reference nodes? This is my 1 element, 2 element and third, and this is my third node, right? So what I will do, I'll name the nodes. So this is my V1 node, for example, this is V2 node, and this is O node. Okay, so I have selected a reference node. I have the second point was they identify the nodes, name it the node voltages. Okay, I have done that. What next? Then I will write the KCL at each node. So in order to write, first let me assume the directions, and for the convenience let us assume the leaving currents as positive. I1, say this is my I2, this is done I2. Now what remains? I3. Okay, now what I will do, I will write the equation for each node. So suppose at node V1, what will be my equation? That is the KCL equation at node A, right? KCL. So what will be my KCL? I1 as it is leaving plus I1 plus I2, that is equal to 0. This will be for node 1. What will be for node 2? I2 is coming to this node, so I2 will be negative I2. I3 is leaving, so I3 is positive, plus I2. Now I2 is coming to this node, so what I will do, I will write minus I2, which is 0. Okay, so this is second equation. Again, let me write the equation for the reference node also. Let me apply the KCL at this point, and let me see what is going to happen. So if I write the KCL at this particular reference node, what will happen? What will be the KCL? That is minus I1 minus small I1 minus I3 and plus I2. This will be 0, right? So if I look this third equation carefully, what I am going to observe, see equation 1, in equation 1 I1 is there, in equation 3 minus I1, plus I1 is there in equation 1, minus I1 is there in equation 2, in equation 3, I2 is not there. Here also from equation 2 also I2 is not there, but I3 negated and this is negated. So can I try that equation 3, can I obtain from equation 1 and 2? Yeah, I can obtain. What can I do? If I'll do the negation, that is if I take it the negative of 1 and if I subtract 2 from 1. So what should I do? I will take it the negative 1 and then subtract 2 from 1, right? Like this. Okay. So let us see what will be minus I1 minus I2 and subtract this, so it will be plus I2, this will be minus I3 and this will be plus I2, which is equal to 0 suppose. So what will be minus I2, this I2 will cancel. So what is the resultant? Minus I1 minus I3 plus I2, that is equal to 0. Okay. So look at this 3 and this equation, it is exactly same. Okay. So what does it mean? It means that equation 3 I can obtain by doing some mathematical operation on equation 1 and 2. It means the equation 3 I can obtain it from equations 1 and 2. It means what? It means my equation 3 is dependent equation, right? And equation 1 and 2 are my independent equations. So can I draw one conclusion from it? So what will be the conclusion is that if I have, let's say, n number of nodes in my network or in my circuit, so how many independent equations I can write? How many independent equations I can write? I can write n minus 1 independent equation. So this is the one conclusion we made it. So if I have n nodes in circuits, how many independent equations? Independent equations will be n minus 1. Why? Because one node we have selected as a reference node. This is the case. Okay. Now let us write the equations for this. In terms of our equation already KCL we have written. Now let us express this current in terms of node voltages. So what is this? I1 plus I2 was equal to 0. So let us express. So this is the source current is given, so we cannot do this. Then I1, small I1, what can be done? It will be V1 upon R1, right? V1 upon R1 by applying Ohm's law. What will be I2? Now I2 will be this. So what will be the Ohm's law? It will be the potential difference between two nodes V1 and V2 divided by that resistor, right? So it will be V1 minus V2 upon R2, right? Which will be equal to 0. Okay. And what is the second equation? That is minus I2 plus I3 minus I2, which was equal to 0. What is minus I2 now? Minus I2 will be minus 1 by R2 V1 minus V2, right? Plus I3. So what is Ohm's law in this branch? It will be V2 by R3, right? And minus I2 is the current source, so it will be minus I2, which is 0, right? So these are two equations I have got it in terms of node voltages. Okay. Now what I will do, what I observe 1 upon R1, 1 upon R2, something like this. So instead of 1 upon R, let me express in terms of conductance, right? So here now onwards I will use the conductance notion, right? So what is my conductance notion now? From this again I can write I1 plus G1 V1 plus G2 into V1 minus V2, that is equal to 0, and second will be minus G2 V1 minus V2 plus G3 V2 minus I2, which is equal to 0, right? Now let us write this equation systematically. So what it will be? G1 V1 plus G2 V1 minus G2 V2 will be equal to minus I1, right? And for the second will be minus G2 V1 plus G2 V2 plus G3 V2 is equal to I2. So what is the result? It will be G1 plus G2 V1 minus G2 V2 will be equal to minus I1, and for second it is minus G2 V1 plus G2 plus G3 V2, which is equal to I2. Okay, so this is my now new form, and what I observe, this is nothing but your linear algebra form. So this I can express in terms of matrix representation, right? So what will be G1 plus G2, this will be minus G2, this will be minus G2, and this term will be G2 plus G3, and this will be V1 V2, which is equal to minus I1, and this is I2. Okay, so what I have been observing this G1 plus G2, this is again spatial matrix. Okay, this is my spatial matrix and all are conductances. So this matrix is known as admittance matrix, that is Y matrix. It is called as admittance matrix, and generally conductance is a special case of admittance. This is my V vector, okay, which is unknown vector. Okay, and this on the right hand side, all the source current, all the sources, independent sources which has been given, which will be, let me write the I vector, this is excitation current or source current, source currents, right? So this is my linear algebra formulation. Now can I make some conclusion from this admittance matrix Y? What I am observing in this case, see, this diagonal elements G1 plus G2 and G2 plus G3, if I go into circuit, what is happening? G1 and G2, right? So for this node, what are the conductance and connected? G1 and G2. And in this second diagonal element, that is G2 and G3. So in the second node, what are the conductances connected? G2 and G3, right? So from this, I have got it some pattern, right? So what is that pattern? In all the diagonal elements will be sum of all the conductances which are connected to that node. So what are the conductances connected to node V1, G1 and G2, yeah, and second diagonal element, all the conductances connected to that node, so G2 and G3. Now the question is, what will be the elements for the off diagonal elements? So for that, this is minus G2 and this is also minus G2. So what is it? It is the common conductance between node 1 and 2, whereas this is the common conductance between node 2 to 1, right? So what is the common conductance connected between node 1 and 2? G2 with the negative sign. Similarly for 2 to 1 it is same, that is minus G2, right? Okay, so I have got it the symmetric matrix. If I take it the transpose also, it will be same, so that's why it will be your symmetric matrix. Okay, it will be a symmetric matrix, and diagonal elements will be sum of all conductances, and off diagonal elements will be the common conductances preceded by the negative sign into unknown vector, and which will be equal to the known sources on the right hand side. So here again we can draw some conclusion. What is it? Minus negative of I1. So in this, in node 1, what is happening with the current source? Current source is leaving. So if it is a leaving, then directly from the observation we can write negative of the current source value, and if it is incoming, you can write if that current source is coming to this node, you can directly write positive sign of that current source value. Okay, so these are the conclusions we can make from this symmetric matrix, right? So that is called as again admittance matrix. So this is your symmetric matrix, but the condition is that only when your network will consist of only independent sources, right? When your network will consist of only independent sources, then only you can write, then only you will get it the dependent symmetric matrix. That also we will clear with one or two examples. Fine. Now what we have obtained, we have obtained that the admittance matrix multiplied with the unknown vector. Okay, admittance matrix was what? Y into unknown vector was V, which will be equal to the current source vector. So this has been formulated into linear algebra, right? This is the linear algebra formulation. Now what I have to do? I have to find out the unknown vector. So what is the procedure? V unknown vector will be equal to Y inverse into the current source, right? Now the question is how to calculate the inverse of admittance matrix. So it will be calculated by adjoint of Y divided by determinant of Y, right? Okay, and adjoint of Y, how can you calculate? Which will be cofactor of Y. Okay, take its transpose divided by determinant of Y. This is my solution and multiply with IS. Okay. Again, the solution will exist only when your determinant of Y is not equal to 0. Right? So in the next class, we will see what is the significance of determinant and what will happen in the network if my determinant is equal to 0. Okay. So first we'll clear this. So I'll take it some numerical values for the same example and we'll solve that. So suppose my R1 value is 2 ohm, R2 value is say 4 ohm, R3 is my 6 ohms, and my first current I1 is 2 ampere and I2 is 4 ampere, for example. Okay, now let us solve it. So what it will be, your admittance matrix was G1 plus G2 minus G2. This was minus G2 and it was G2 plus G3, right? Into that was V, which was V1, V2, and has to be equal to I1 is minus 2, I2 is 4, right? So let me find out this matrix. So G1 is 1, sorry, it is 1 by 2 plus G2 is 1 by 4, minus 1 by 4 here, minus 1 by 4 there, then G2 and G3 it will be 1 by 4 plus 1 by 6, okay, into V1, sorry, and this is V2, and which will be equal to minus 2 and minus 4, right? Now what next? I have to calculate the V, which will be Y inverse into IS vector. So for that, let me calculate the admittance inverse, which will be adjoint of Y divided by determinant of Y. So first let me calculate the resultant. After simplification, what will be 1 by 2 plus 3 by 4, 1 by 4, it will be 3 by 4, this is minus 1 by 4, this is minus 1 by 4, and this is 10 by 24. Okay, and what is its determinant? Determinant will be 3 by 4 minus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4 plus 10 by 24. Determinant will be 3 by 4 into 10 by 24 minus 1 by 4 into minus 1 by 4. So is the resultant determinant is 24 by 96, which comes out to be 1 by 4. Okay, now let us calculate the adjoint of Y. So what will be the adjoint of Y? For that, find out the cofactors and then its transpose. So what is the cofactor for this? You remove this row and this column. What is the remaining? 10 by 24. And how can you write? Minus 1 raised to row number and column number into that number. So in this case, row number is 1, column number is 1. So minus 1 raised to 1 plus 1, that is positive. And the remaining is 10 by 24. In this, row number is 1, column number is say 2. So minus 1 raised to 3, it is minus sign with this and this, minus 1 by 4. So it will be plus 1 by 4. Similarly, it will be plus 1 by 4 and this will be 3 by 4, I guess, right? Yeah, 3 by 4. And as it is a symmetric, if you take a transpose, it will be same. Okay, so this adjoint of, so what is Y inverse? This will be 10 by 24, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 3 by 4 divided by 1 by 4, which comes to be multiplied with this Okay, and 4 will be multiplied, so the resultant will be unknown vector v bar will be this. You can calculate 10 by 6, this is 1, this is 1, and this is 3. Okay, multiplied with -2 and 4, that comes out to be -20 by 6 plus 4. Fine, and this will be -2 plus 12. So this is simply -20 by 6, so 24, 4 by 6, right? So it is 4 by 6 is this voltage, and this will be 10 volt, right? So this is my known vector, which is 4 by 6 volt and 10 volt. Okay, so this way you can calculate. Here, thank God, our determinant is not equal to 0, that's why we have the solution. Otherwise it would have been going to again somewhat complicated case. That complicated case means we didn't have the solution at that time, right? So we stop here. Next class we'll see the significance of determinant, and what if the determinant is 0, what is its perspective in terms of, or what is the interpretation in terms of circuit perspective. Thank you very much.